My name is Karina Cain, and for my final presentation, I will be discussing at-risk youth and education. At-risk youth can be defined as a student or group of students who are considered to have a higher probability of failing academically or dropping out of school. At-risk youth present with a variety of challenges when attending school that often result in involuntary or voluntary disengagement. This disengagement results in performance gaps between at-risk students and those who are not classified as at-risk in the education system. Understanding the challenge of at-risk students face in the education system is critical for implementing successful education practices in the classroom to encourage academic achievement. At-risk students are more susceptible than their peers that are not classified as at-risk to academic failure due to a variety of circumstances. These circumstances include socioeconomic status, attendance, behavioral issues, or classification in populations such as special education or English language learners. These youth may also face a lack of stable housing or homelessness due to foster services or involvement in the justice system. At-risk students often have a lack of access to health care, which may lead to problems with physical health, behavioral health, and their general well-being. Socioeconomic status plays a large role in an at-risk student's education. Students from low-income families are more likely to have sex before age 16, become a gang member, attack someone or get in a fight, steal something worth more than $50, or run away. These students are also more likely to start school with limited language skills, have less parental support with homework, and deal with more emotional and social problems that interfere with learning. Students who live in low-income communities are 4 times more likely to be chronically absent due to unstable housing, unreliable transportation, and a lack of access to health care. By the time a student is in 6th grade, chronic absence becomes a leading indicator that a student will drop out of high school. Alternative education has been a program frequently used for promoting academic achievement in at-risk youth populations. Alternative education is an initiative established to serve at-risk students whose needs are not being met in traditional school settings. School districts may offer an alternative education program with 1 or more public schools or school districts, or a separate alternative education school entirely. Alternative education schools operate as self-contained public schools, rather than a program existing within another school. The idea behind alternative schools is that the program can remove the student from the traditional classroom and provide them with a chance for success in a smaller, more supportive environment. Research has shown that alternative education programs have not produced positive evidence in their effectiveness in reducing delinquent behavior. A recent study assessed how effective one alternative education program was at changing the students' schools-related attitudes, academic performance, and self-reported delinquency. The study found that while there were short-term effects on grade point average, school attendance, and self-esteem, these effects were not observed at the 1-year follow-up. Alternative education programs need to develop strategies that yield long-term effects on youth. One such strategy could be adapted from research done by Suzanne Friedman. In her study, Friedman implemented forgiveness as the goal in an educational intervention. Forgiveness education helps students cope with their hurt and angry feelings, which is important with at-risk students as these youth have experienced deep, unfair, and personal hurts, and as a result carry a great deal of anger and negative feelings. If educators are aware of these feelings that the youth are harboring, they can work to implement strategies and provide resources they can use to cope with these intense feelings. Friedman's study showed that the participants in the forgiveness education class gained more than the control group in forgiveness and hope, and decreased significantly more than the control group in anxiety and depression. It is important to allow students to express their negative feelings related to being hurt, as it allows them to process their pain and realize that they're able to cope with the hurt. Forgiveness needs to be taught as an option when discussing current world events. This will make the topic real for students and allow them to see the advantages of forgiveness. Another important aspect of alternative education to consider when discussing the overall and long-term success of the youth is the approaches to the overall educational experiences of a student taken by the teachers and staff of the program. Research has shown these teacher and staff approaches contribute to student success in alternative education programs. Research has also shown that the lack of teacher-student relationships is a contributing factor to student disengagement, thus indicating that not all teachers are willing or able to connect with at-risk students. The effectiveness of a teacher, especially for at-risk students, can be detrimental to student academic achievement. Research found that 7 key themes emerged when educators that participated in a study were asked to identify personal factors that support motivation, interest, and eagerness to be an effective teacher in an alternative education setting. These themes were understanding, defining moment, perspective and outlook, personal and/or psychological goal attainment, intrinsic motivation, teacher beyond academics, and internal fortitude. The hiring and training of effective teachers for engaging at-risk students should focus on these 7 key themes in order to provide the best opportunities for the students to thrive in the classroom. At-risk students enter the education system with a variety of circumstances that their peers that are not classified as at-risk do not have to overcome. These circumstances create challenges for educators in traditional public school settings and often result in the student being transferred to an alternative education program in school. Past research has shown that alternative education has not yielded long-term positive results. Possible strategies to improve alternative education program include forgiveness education and stringent hiring and training of educators and staff of alternative education programs to ensure that they are effective in engaging at-risk youth. Understanding the challenges at-risk youth students face in and out of the classroom is crucial for providing them with effective curriculum, education settings, and general life skills.